Hi everybody, it's Susan from Sunrise Quilt Studio and welcome to week 44 of the Stash Buster block series. Today our block is called Arrowhead Star. This is made with a lot of half square triangles and flying geese units, and it has a lot of points to match, so it takes a little bit of time to do this one, but I still think it's an interesting block and I hope you'll give this one a try. Here are the fabrics that you're going to need to make the Arrowhead Star block. For the background, you're going to need one piece that is 4.5 inches square. You're going to need 12 pieces that are 2.5 inches square. You'll need 4 pieces that are 2 7/8 inch square, and then you'll need 4 pieces that are 2.5 by 4.5 inches. Now for your corner pieces that go here, I'm calling this color 2. You need 4 pieces that are 2 7/8 of an inch square, and then you need 4 pieces that are 2.5 inches square. And for your darker fabric, which is color 1, you'll need 4 pieces that are 2.5 by 4.5, and then you'll need 8 pieces that are 2.5 inches square. So it uses a lot of pieces, but they're pretty common sizes, and it makes a really pretty block. So I do hope you will try this one. And we're going to start off by making this unit here. We're going to make the half square triangles. We're going to put this block together in units. And what we're going to do is we're going to do these corner units, and then we'll do the flying geese units. There's 2 flying geese units here, and the colors are just reversed. So we'll make these in units, and then we'll put the block together. So let's make the corner unit first, and we're going to make the half square triangles, which requires the 2 7/8 inch pieces. So your background and your lighter color, which is color number 2 in my instructions, and you can find the written instructions on my blog, and there's a link in the info box below that you can find that. So we're going to make half square triangles out of these 2, and that's going to require drawing a diagonal line on these pieces from one corner to the next. So just take any kind of a straight edge and a marker or a pen or a pencil, and you're just going to mark from one corner to the opposite. And just has to be dark enough that you can see it. You're going to use this line as a guide. You're going to sew on each side of this line 1/4 inch away, and then you will cut on that line. So that line really won't show in your quilt. So you're going to take your pieces and you're going to lay them right sides together, and then we're going to sew 1/4 inch away on both sides of this line. Flip this around and do the other side. And then we're going to cut right on that diagonal line. So you're going to repeat this with all 4 of your sets of 2 7/8 inch squares. Okay, next thing we need to do is to press these open. So we're going to press towards the darker fabric, which for me is the yellowish gold fabric. Okay, so we have all of these half square triangles, and now we need to trim the dog ears off to eliminate some bulk and to help make the piecing more accurate down the line. Okay, now we're going to lay out this unit. So we need the yellow 2.5 inch squares, and we need some of the white 2.5-inch squares. We'll need 4 of those. So I'm going to take 4 of them and set the others back. This is the corner, and then the half square triangles are going to point towards each other, and then the yellow will go here. So we're going to make 4 of those units. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to make this, how to sew this one together and how to press it. So we're just going to do it in rows, and then we'll sew the rows together. So let's go ahead and get started on that. Okay, so we're going to sew the first 2 pieces of the unit together that are on the top row. And then the 2 bottom row pieces. Okay, now we're going to press these units, and this is the top row. We're going to press towards the corner piece, which is the white, and this piece goes here, and we're going to press this one towards this one. So we're going towards the full squares on both of these pieces, and then we're going to sew them together. And that will make, this will make our unit. Okay, so we're just going to butt these seams up together. We're going to nest the seams together and then sew these 2 rows together. Okay, and then here's the unit. So now we're ready to, I'm going to finish the other 3 units, and then we'll work on flying geese. Okay, when you're pressing this unit, you're going to want to press down away from the outside corner. So we're going to press down here. So I'm going to press the seam flat and then press it down. And what this will do is make it easier to sew the flying geese unit that goes right next to it if we have those all pressed down. So in the back, you want your horizontal seam here to be pressed towards the square. You also want that seam pressed towards that square. So when you're putting these together, that is your goal, is to get all your seams pressed this way. Okay, our next unit is the flying geese units right here, and you can see this one has the geese unit is dark with the light sides, and this one it's light with dark. So you put them together and you get this chevron look. So we need to make 8 flying geese units total and then put them together. So we're going to make 4 in this colorway and 4 in this colorway. So we're going to take the white 2.5-inch squares, and we're going to draw a line on the diagonal again from corner to corner, and this is going to be a stitching line this time instead of a guideline. So you'll want to do that on all of your 2.5-inch squares, the ones that are left. Now remember, you used 4 of them for these corner units, so those you didn't draw anything on, and the rest of them you will draw a diagonal line on the wrong side of them. And then for your dark ones, your dark 2.5-inch squares, you're going to do the same thing, and you should have 8 of these. So get the wrong side of those, and since this is dark, my pencil isn't going to show very well, so I'm going to use a chalk pencil. This is a General's Charcoal White is what this is. so a charcoal pencil or a chalk pencil, and draw the line on that so that you can see them. And we're going to make the flying geese units. Okay, let's start with the flying geese units with the darker color, and we're going to take one of the white 2.5 inch squares and line that up, and we're going to sew from the bottom lower corner to the center of the top, and we're going to sew that right on the line that was drawn. And we're going to do that for all 4 of those blue flying geese units. And we're doing one side at a time, and then we'll do some trimming and pressing, and then we'll do the other side. Okay, I'm going to cut these apart. I think I need to sharpen my scissors. Okay, and then we'll trim off this outer triangle, leaving a 1/4 inch seam allowance. You can do this with your rotary cutter, or you can use it with your scissors, whichever is easiest for you. Since my scissors are right here by my machine, it's easier for me to do it this way, and I don't worry about it being an exact 1/4 inch, because that's really not that important, because the sewing line is already there. So okay, let me get those out of the way. Now we're going to press these open, and we're going to press those triangles out, so we'll have a unit that looks like that. Okay, now we need to sew the square onto this side, so we're going to take this square and we're going to line up the drawn line so that it goes from the center to the lower outer corner. So we're going to sew right on that line. And trim threads. Okay, that's what we've got, and we're going to trim off this outer corner, leaving a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then I'm going to press it so that it comes out this direction. Okay, so here is the flying geese unit. So I'm going to finish that for the other 3, and then repeat all of those steps for the other flying geese. I have the white base. Okay, here's the other colorway, so I'm just going to repeat the same steps. Everything's just in reverse as far as the colors. Okay, now we need to sew the flying geese units together, and what we want is at the top we want one of the dark ones paired with one of the light ones, and so we want the dark fabrics to go together with the dark flying geese on the top. So we're going to go like this, and I'm going to turn it so that I can see this point here, and where the lines of stitching cross on that flying geese unit, I want to stitch, those lines are crossing right here and right here. I want to stitch just right on the outside of those, so within the seam allowance, but not on that side of them. I want it on this side, so a couple of threads. So I'm going to watch that point as I sew these 2 units together. And the goal is to not cut off the tip of the point. So when I open this up, I will have a nice point right there. Now to press these, I'm going to press them away from the bottom flying geese. That just helps distribute the bulk a little bit, and it's going to make those points of your flying geese show better. If you fold it down this way, it takes up fabric up here, and then it kind of makes them look like they're blunted off. So when you fold them this way and press them that way, I mean, so when you press the seam up, I think they look better. So that is my goal. Okay, so I have this pressed. Now hopefully you can see that point pretty well there, and the seam is pressed up. So I'm going to make 4 units like this. Okay, now we're going to lay out the block, and let's start with the center, which is the 4.5 inch square, and we're going to put in our corners and our flying geese units, and the white flying geese is going to face the center square. Just like that. And there we go. So now we just need to sew it in rows and then sew the rows together. The thing is, we've got a lot of points to match. So on this row, we need to match this point with that one, and this point with this one. This row we're doing okay. We don't have to worry about matching points. And then this row is going to be the same as that one. We need to match here and here. And then when we sew the rows together, we'll be matching points at every single seam line. So it'll take a little bit of time and a little bit of effort, but it'll be worth it. So first thing I'm going to do is find the point here, and on this side you can't see this cross lines right here. You can't see those because it's folded that way. So flip it over here where you can see them, and you can see where the lines cross here. And you want to put your pin on right here. It's going to be, instead of right in this triangle, we're going to go right here, because this is where the point is on this side. See it right there? So where the seams cross here, this one with that one to the right side of it, you can see that this line here and this line there, we're going to stick the pin there, and we're going to match that up, make sure I'm grabbing the right one, with this point here. So where this white one meets the point of the flying geese, just stick your pin through there, and your seams are already sewn so that they should nest. So if you line that pin up and nest your seams together, you should be doing good. So I'm going to go ahead and pin that and then sew that. Okay, I'm coming up to where the stitching lines are. And let's see how that came out. So here we go. So that's pretty good. And now I want to do the same for this one. Just turn it so I can see where the lines cross. Put my pin through. So right at the tip of the point here, and then through the point right there, and line everything up. and then sew that. Okay, so here's the point there, right there. So that looks pretty good. Okay, so we'll do the next row. This one I don't have to worry about points. So this one should be easy to sew. Okay, now I do the last row, and I'm going to do the same as I did with the top row. Okay, so now I have all 3 rows sewn together, and I'm going to press. Okay, here's my sample block, and you can see on the back how I pressed away from the flying geese on both of these, and on the center block I pressed towards the center. So we're going to do the same on this one because that block went together well. So on this one I will press out. And this one I'll press towards the center. And this one we will press out. Okay, now they're all ready to be sewn together. And so here's where we have a lot of points to match. So we've got, each seam has a point on it. You can see where this half square triangle is going to meet this one, and this one's going to meet that one. These two are going to meet, and then these two are going to meet. So our half square triangles are our culprit here. So on this side I can see where the stitching lines cross on every side. On this side I can't, so I'm going to go from this side here, and I'm just going to start from my left side and just work my way around to the other end and just pin all my points together right there. Do the same here and there, and making sure my seams are nested. And do this one to that one. And that one to this one. Okay. Okay, now ready to sew that. where my stitching lines cross. Okay, so here we go. Got those two rows together, and we'll do the same thing with this bottom row. Okie doke. And let's see how this one came out. Okay, this one's pretty good too. So let's go press. Okay, on this one I'm going to press the seams out. So I'm going to press this flat first on both sides, and then press out. Get some of my loose threads off of there. Here we go. So here we have the Arrowhead Star block. Okay, now I have 4 blocks pinned up on my design wall, and this is the look that you'll get if you set your quilt in a straight set without sashing or alternate blocks. So I think this makes a really interesting quilt, and you know, change the colors to something that's, you know, some of your favorite colors and match your bedroom decor, whatever, and I think you'll have a really nice quilt. And I really like this block. It does take a little time because you've got a lot of pieces in it and there are points to match, but I think if you try some of those tips I gave you, I think you'll find that it isn't too difficult. It just takes a little time to get done. So this has been a fun project. I really have enjoyed it. So this is the Arrowhead Star. If you like this video, please click the like button and subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to click that notification bell so you'll be notified when the next video comes up. And in the meantime, I hope you are all staying safe and healthy, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. For more quilting ideas, click on the video links. And to keep up with my latest projects, click on the subscribe button. I hope to see you again soon.